Hello and Happy New Year and welcome to Dad's Do Dinner with me, Christopher Zackerley. You're very welcome today. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully everyone is at home. My daughter's back from school, hopefully doing her homework. Whatever. Yeah, anyway, let's see what we can rustle up in tonight's kitchen for our families. So the one thing I love about this particular recipe is that when I first made it, it was one of those things that I thought, wow, I can actually do this for just myself or for like up to 10 people. It's so versatile. So hopefully whether you're just sitting at home alone or whether you've got a family to feed, this recipe is right up your street. So today is chicken shish kebab, which is really exciting. I love chicken shish. And for anybody who likes sort of Middle Eastern-y flavoured food, this is going to be perfect for you. So let's crack on and keep this as short as possible, and we'll go through the ingredients to start off with. So first, what we have today is we have some chicken breasts. For those of you on Facebook, you will have seen my little teaser yesterday. I've got one chicken breast per person, as we are a 3-person household. That's why I have 3 chicken breasts. So 1 chicken breast per person. The next things we have are some cumin, which we'll come on to a bit later, and how much we'll need. A bit of salt. We've got a pot of creme fraiche here. I've got the lighter version, but if you want to go full fat, that's totally up to you. We've got some lemon juice, and we've got some smoked paprika here from a supermarket that rhymes with Schmesco, and we also have a little bit of maple syrup and some garlic puree. If anybody again has no access to any of the products we've seen today, do let me know. You can contact us at dadsdodinner@outlook.com and we can talk through the recipe together, no problem. But in the case of garlic, please, I'd get about 2 or 3 garlic cloves together for your dinner, crushed up, minced nicely, and instead of maple syrup, you don't have to have it at all. But as I said in our first video, we don't do sugar in this house, but you can use sugar if you want to. Okay, so before we even get started with our chicken, we're actually going to make the dip that goes with the kebabs first. So let's have a look at that. For our recipe here, we've got literally these ingredients. So we've got a pot of Greek style yogurt. I've gone for the completely zero fat free one. You can use whichever Greek style yogurt that you like. And I've also got some fresh coriander. If you know, at any point you don't have access to these things, as I said, you can use like dried version of coriander, and you can, you know, use any plain yogurt that you can find. I've just gone for the Greek style because it's nice and thicker. So let's give it a go and see what dip we can do. As we said yesterday, make sure your knife is nice and sharp, not dangerously sharp. Just give it a couple of once-throughs. So I'm just going to chop up some coriander now. I love this herb. It's so versatile. It's like citrusy, really aromatic as well. You'll find coriander in a lot of dishes, from Asian dishes through to Indian dishes, and I said that, didn't I? Yeah. It's just so versatile. So I've taken about half a bag out for our dip. I don't want to overpower it. So clump it together, knife nice and firmly flat on the chopping board surface, and use it a bit like an anvil hammer. And go through and just cut the coriander up in a bunch. Please don't stress too much. If you want it to be as coarse or as fine as you like, you go for it. There's no rule on how you get to chop coriander in your own house. That's entirely up to you. I'm going to make it fairly fine for my loved ones here, as I know they don't really like chunky food. So we're good. See, look, I'm moving a board. Oh, scary. Yeah, I know these professional chefs are amazingly good at knife work. I'm not the greatest, so I just cut the way is quick and easy for me to do. So that's our chopped coriander done. So I'm just going to grab a small mixing bowl now, put it on the side here, grab a spoon, and I'm going to take, I think for us lot, we won't need very much, I don't think. So I'm going to take, how much is this, 500 grams? Should we use half a pot? Half a pot, yeah. So I reckon that would probably feed a family of 6, this whole pot. So I go for half a pot for 3 of us. Pop it in the mixing bowl. give it a nice stir. It can separate inside the pot in transit from the supplier, so just give it a little stir and put about half a pot in. That should be plenty. Okay, now we're going to add in our coriander, and we're going to mix this all together, and just to make sure it's really nice and savoury to eat, we're just going to add in a pinch of salt. Okay, mix that all together. I love this sort of yogurt. If anybody's a fan of going to out for a curry and having that really nice raita dip, it's very similar to that. They use mint in the Indian ones, but I nicked this idea shamelessly off my friends Phil and Lola in Oxfordshire, and I just loved it ever since. So there we are, chopped coriander in yogurt with a bit of salt. Wonderful. So I'll put that to one side for now and come back to that later. Now we're going to move on to our chicken. So take your chicken breasts. What I need you to do is make sure you have a mixing bowl to hand, because we're going to be mixing all of our ingredients together. As the name of the dinner indicates, chicken shish is definitely not from around these parts. It's a bit of I guess it's like a Middle Eastern dish, where spices in the past were used to preserve food, whereas we get the luxury of using them mostly for flavour now, which is brilliant. Fairly big chunks of chicken. What we want to do is make sure that every bit is can be covered with the marinade that we're making. And to be honest, I use the word marinade lightly because a marinade really should be left overnight. But we don't have time for that, so we'll just use it as a sauce. It'll be fine. I've done this loads before and it's been a real hit, basically just because how many people really have the time to come in after work and do all this cooking? Well, that's what I'm hoping will change your mind after today. So we'll chop these chicken breasts up. These are ones I just grabbed out of the freezer yesterday. Absolutely no problem. They don't have to be like freshly bought or anything. If you've got anything in the freezer, just go ahead and grab it. But it is easier to cook with chicken breasts. I have tried it with chicken thigh before. It worked okay. It's just a little bit easier to cut up chicken breast, so we'll go with that. All right. I'm going to have to wash my hands quickly because, as I hope you know, can't mix meat and vegetables together. Not that there's any veg, just, you know what I mean. Keep the chicken juice off your fingers. Okay. Just give my hands a quick dry. Right, so we've got our chicken in our bowl, and we're going to add our marinade mix now. The reason why I got this wooden spoon out was just to make a bit of a silly point, really. So the episode where we did mini quiches, I made a point about this thing. I absolutely love it. This is my spatula. I now have two because I'm that greedy. Nothing wrong with a wooden spoon, it's just that when you're inside a pan, a wooden spoon will only touch a very small part of the surface in any pan that you're using, whereas a spatula uses a huge bit of surface, so you can scoop and move, and I'm too excited, aren't I? I'll stop there, that's okay. Okay, so we're going to grab our herbs and spices now. Cumin is the main part to our dish today. The golden rule of thumb is 1 heaped teaspoon per chicken breast. Love cumin, it's so cool. Cumin is an amazing spice. It is full of iron, zinc, perfect things to help digestion, to help oxygen in the blood. It's just so cool. I love cumin and it tastes fantastic. So you can see now there I put 3 heaped dessert spoons in there to cover up the chicken. Now we're just going to add a large pinch of salt, so that's 3 fingers just in there like that. Now I like to put smoked paprika in my chicken shish. You don't have to. I know some people are allergic to peppers and other things like that, so but honestly I just think it lifts it so nicely, and I literally want you to be this scientific. Just a light sprinkle all over the top and you're done. That's it. That's all you need, just to flavour it a little bit more. Okay. Right. Beautiful. Lemon juice. If you don't own any, get some. It's brilliant in fresh water. I love it. I drink lemon juice diluted all the time. And literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that will do. That's it. That's all you need. Similar story with your sugar. The only reason why I add sugar is because it takes off that sort of warmth or burny sort of taste that you get with herbs and spices that are of that ilk. So you don't have to add it for sure, but I'm going to add it because I know my girlies like it. So for you guys, literally, again, just 2 dessert spoons will be absolutely plenty. It also helps bind up the ingredients a bit better as well. And then last but not least at all, our garlic. So I said about 3 cloves worth would be plenty. So I'll stick to that promise. Okay, so to bind it all up together, and we're going to cook in this as well, we're going to add our creme fraiche. Again, general rule of thumb is about 100 ml, per chicken breast. That's absolutely plenty. You won't use all of that anyway, especially when we're getting the meat cooking, but that it just helps you get it all bound up together. And this particular one I got really cheap from our lovely supermarket that we've nicknamed Schmaldi. There we go. Okay, let's get this in there. Look at that, beautiful. Okay, now what I want you to do is mix everything up so that every piece of chicken, I don't want to see any naked chicken, no nudies. I want everything to be completely and utterly covered in the mixture that you're doing, okay? It's going to look like a really weird sort of sloppy, browny coloured mix, but I promise it's going to be well worth it. Try and make sure that everything is covered, but also that there's no herbs that look a bit dry still in the mixture. And look what my spatula's doing. I know, I'm a complete geek. There we go. Look at that. See? A brown mess. How exciting. Trust me, it will taste super nice. Okay, so that is our mix done. If you wanted a more intense flavour to your shish kebab, feel free to leave it overnight. Come back to it tomorrow. Carry on with the recipe we're doing now. It'll taste even better, but honestly, with the mix I do, it's just quick and easy and it'll still taste great. So we'll carry on from here. Now, I know that some of you are going to shout at me because I'm going to pull something out the cupboard now and you're all going to go, who has them at home? I know, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to take out some skewers. I grabbed these from a supermarket that rhymes with a car called Mazda. So again, really cheap. These are bamboo skewers. Wouldn't necessarily use these on a naked flame like a barbecue, but they're great for grilling, and it helps lock in as much of the marinade as possible. But I thought you might be challenged, or challenging me even, with the use of bamboo sticks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some chicken on skewers for the purpose of the recipe, which I hope you give a go, and then the chicken skewers go on the grill. And then I'm going to put a little bit aside so I can show you guys, especially those who are just home alone tonight, how you can do it in a hot frying pan and sort of get a similar outcome. Is that all right? Cool. So let's get some of this on the go. I just need to get my grill pan out. Fellas, please remember to put tin foil in the pan. Nobody likes a dirty dish. Right. Piece of chicken, straight in the mix, straight through the skewer. Bang, boom, on. Oh, look at that. Next piece, on. Next piece, on. Next piece, on. And you just literally keep repeating this. Some of you who enjoy cooking a lot more than others perhaps will know that this recipe normally asks for yogurt to be used rather than creme fraiche. The reason I use creme fraiche is just that little bit thicker, and it just allows the the herbs to stay on just a bit longer rather than all melting off. So I'm just going to pop that on the grill pan now. So when this goes under the grill, I don't generally do top shelf grilling. I tend to do second shelf, sort of middle shelf, on a full heat, but with the door shut, so that it sort of cooks and grills at the same time. But you feel free to grill whatever way you're comfortable. Just think of it as a piece of cheese on toast. If it starts to look burnt, it probably is. Top tip. So let's get this kebab done. As I said, this is probably sort of a better way of keeping the marinade on a kebab, but we'll go through how we can do them in a hot pan now. I've still got quite a lot in here, so I'm going to use that to show you what to do, and we'll pop those in the grill. Not going to say what that looks like. All right, okay, so to finish off now, I'm just going to bring you over here. So, high heat, so I'm going to put mine on 5. Do you remember my retro oven? Ah, beautiful. Just a bit of fry lights to stop it completely sticking to the bottom of the pan. Definitely a non-stick pan for this one, so if you have a fancy copper or what's a non-stick pan? I'm not even sure. But anyway, definitely use a non-stick pan for this. It's so much easier. So we're just going to heat that up now, and then we'll get the chicken bits on. In terms of serving up, you've got so much choice. You could serve it with sweet potato fries, normal fries, mash if you wanted mash, but for us guys, we're going to have it with some couscous and a little bit of salad. For those of you who like shopping, please do look around, because you can get some amazing, really good value couscous. I think we've got this for about 40-50p from our famous Schmaldi supermarket, just to make sure that you're not spending millions and millions on fresh cooking, because it can get very pricey. Excuse me. Can you see this over here okay? Can you see how the oils, sort of the fry light's quite an easy indicator. It sort of goes from this white colour to the classic like sort of see-through oil colour once you've done, once it's heated up okay. It needs to be fairly hot, but once you put the chicken in the pan, you need to keep it in the place that it's in, okay? So once we've done that, I'm just going to pop it in and do that. Yeah, that's a nice sizzle, isn't it? I just love these flavours. Your house is going to start smelling of somewhere in Lebanon or somewhere around there. So good. And for someone who will confess to having the odd cheeky kebab, this is such a good alternative. If you're off, sorry, any particular takeaway at the moment, this is a really nice alternative. Excuse me, I just have to rinse my hand because I'm covered in it. Right, nearly done. So you can see already that this is cooking. So we need to leave this for about 3 to 4 minutes on this side. If you haven't got a pair of spatulas, then I would suggest getting like a flat spatula, just to make sure you can sort of scoop and flip over. But I've decided to invest in these little pincers from the shop that rhymes with, what did I say? Mikia. There we go. You'll soon start to smell it. Shall we have a look under the side of one of them just to check how we're doing? So see how it's gone quite brown underneath. If it starts to go brown quite fast, turn it down slightly. It certainly won't ruin it at all, and it will cook quite fast. So essentially what you're doing is grilling it without the grill. We're just using this as a hot plate. The only problem with this is that if you sort of turn it, if you stir it around rather than turn it, you'll turn it into a bit of a creamy sauce, which isn't a bad thing, but it won't be as effective as somebody who's getting it grilled. But yeah, it's totally your choice. Again, no stress, it's all good. Right, this is getting on really, really well. So I've turned most of my pieces over now. I've turned my heat down to 4 out of 5, 3/4 on your hob, especially if you're using a gas hob. But this is just smelling amazing now. I've got garlic, cumin, oh, so many good things in here right now. And just to make sure that it's cooked through really. If you want to, if you're worried about cooking, I know I can get a bit funny about meat being cooked, feel free to do this in the pan and then pop it in the oven for 10 minutes, no problem at all. It's just to make sure that it all browns on the outside really. This is going really super well. I think we might actually be able to finish this meal in this take, which would be awesome. So I'm going to persist and see how we get on. This is fantastic. Okay, so you see how the marinade has sort of started to cook on the side. Don't worry about that. You need to get your hands out and start washing some dishes. Okay. I feel redundant now, we're just waiting for this, aren't we? But it proves my point that you can do a dinner in about half an hour when you get in from work. It's no problem. So I'm just going to turn this another time on some other sides. And we are nearly done. Right. As this is nearly done, I'm just going to pop these on the side. I've now turned it down to a half heat, just so we can cook through the chicken. Pita bread, I've taken this straight from the freezer. You don't have to, obviously, if it's a fresh pita, but they work absolutely brilliantly from frozen or fresh. Pop it in the toaster, whack it on half heat, leave that for a couple of minutes. Once it's pinged, turn it round and do it for another 30 seconds and you'll be good to go. Right, how are we doing over here? Oh, this looks good. Look at this. Smells amazing. See how all the outside now, see with yogurt, especially with fat-free yogurt, it's more liquid than it is anything else. So this would have ran everywhere by now, but the creme fraiche, even the half-fat creme fraiche is just holding so well. And that's why I personally use creme fraiche rather than anything else. So let's see how our kebab's doing. It's still in the toaster, so we'll leave that for a second. If you want to put this in a fancy dish, this is your coriander and yogurt dip. Go ahead. I'm not going to worry about it too much because we're going to dare to plate up now, people, just to see if we can get a dinner on the go and do it now. Okay, we are moments away. I think this is doing really, really well. You probably noticed I keep turning it. You turn it as many times as you like. Just make sure you give it a chance there to cook. I can see the white chicken through the middle now, so we're just making sure that it's nice and cooked the whole way through now. Be nice and safe. Don't want any upset tummies after today. Right, I'm just going to flick my kebab over. Get that done. Right, while this is finishing off, this is something I did earlier. So I mentioned quickest way to get dinners out. I know what it's like. It's just people in and out all the time. So that's why I suggested the couscous. It literally is out of a packet into some boiling water. Leave it on the side. It'll cook itself. And I've just popped it on a plate over here. So we've got just a really small side salad with a bit of carrot and a little mound of couscous that I literally shoved in a ramekin to get that shape. Just makes it a nice shape in there. Right, this is good to go. Smelling amazing. So kebab pitas can be quite hot. I learnt this by burning myself once. So just be careful as you're preparing it. If you want to prepare it on the side, that's totally fine. Whatever's easiest for you. I'm cheating. I'm using scissors, mostly because I can. And you'll find one side that opens easier than the other. So you see, I've just flicked that around now. Use a knife if you want to. It's totally your choice. And then once you've got that natural pocket, don't worry guys, it doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, I've already ripped mine. But what will look nice is that when you start to pack the chicken into the kebab, it will start to look absolutely gorgeous. So what's going to be the best way to show you guys that way? Let's get this chicken in. And there you go, a very homemade chicken kebab, chicken shish kebab with a bit of dip on. Done. And there you are, chicken shish kebab. Should we take one more look? There you go. Super. Well done, everyone. Dad's Do Dinner in under 30 minutes again. Hope you enjoyed joining us. Please leave us a comment if you can, and we will see you very soon for our next episode. Thank you.